Thank you for that, CSL. Whatever you added, I will look right now. It's just, oh yeah, the drawings. Right, the Trump doesn't draw pictures. What an asshole. Oh, it's worse, by the way. Let me just tell you this. It's worse. It's worse than he drew some fucking pubic hair and wrote Donald on a body picture of a dude. It's worse. You want to know how it's worse? Let me show you how it's worse. Let me show you how fucking worse. This is, I don't know if you've seen this clip. It started making the rounds. I don't know why this wasn't the first fucking thing that came out. It's amazing how long it takes people to dig this shit up. But check this out. This is Trump on Howard Stern. And, well, here, let's see.
Think about being Donald Trump right now.
Well, other than the fact I'm married, okay?
Right.
And I'm very happily married. I have a great wife. But if I weren't married, I'd be able to get all of the girls I want, except for possibly Rob.
Girls, hang on to that thought. Not women. All the women I want. I can have any woman I want. I used to have a joke in high school, in my early stand-up, was that I can have any woman I want. And everybody go, oh, yeah? And I'm like, because I don't want a woman that doesn't want me. It's a linguistic trick, but it's true. I have no interest in a woman that isn't interested in me. It doesn't make any sense to me. Right? But I would always say woman. Even when I was in fucking high school, I would say woman. Because I was thinking adult who can make her own decisions. Check this out, though. Girl, says girl, and watch this.
Do you think you could now be banging 24-year-olds?
Oh, absolutely. I have no trouble.
Would you do it?
I have no problem.
Yeah, do you have an age limit, or would you...
No, I have no age. I mean, I have an age. I don't want to be
the
like
upper bracket, yeah.
Foley with 12-year-olds.
Can I make a prediction?
I don't want to be fooling with 12-year-olds. It's interesting that that's the number, considering that Katie was 13, 14 years old. A lot of the Epstein girls were 13, 14. That was specifically the age he would go for. 12 would be the, sort of the prepubescent. He meant girls. Let me play that for you again.
I have no problem.
Yeah, do you have an age limit, or would you...
No, I have no age. I mean, I have an age.
I have an age limit.
I don't want to be
the
like
upper bracket, yeah.
Foley with 12-year-olds.
Can I make a...
Yeah, that's how bad it is. Hey, maggots, come get your boy. Come get your boy. What the ever-loving shit. Yeah. It's one of those things where, this is what I've been saying. Everybody's like, would he really give up half of MAGA to protect, the elites, or protect, because that was what Beck was selling. No, motherfucker. No. Here's what the reason he's not telling the truth about this is not to protect those people. He's not sacrificing MAGA to protect the fucking Mossad or his handlers or some shit like that. It's because if they saw what he really did, it's worse. No matter how bad the damage is to MAGA, lying to them, pulling them along by a hook in their nose, it doesn't matter. No matter how bad it's seen as shitting the bed, no matter how terrible, if they saw the reality, what's really in there, what he really did, it's worse. That's why. That's why that's why he'll push back on this and lie about it, and the lies will keep coming, and he will never roll it back and go, well, it was a mistake for me to be friends with Jeff and blah, 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 and I was under the impression, and try to dive into it and work his way around it, because he knows how awful it is. And any ground he gives it all is just another reason to look, an inch further into it. That's why. Has nothing to do with there's no dead bodies and nothing. It's just as bad as it is bad enough. That's why. And he knows it. And he fucking bragged about it back in the day. And none of these maggot assholes cared. Maggots, fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Again, this is my point. You have to have Trump derangement syndrome to like the guy. You have to be deranged to think that Donald Trump, wingman of Jeffrey Epstein, who said his age floor is 12 years old. That guy. Oh, Trump is Diddy? Oh, we'll get to that in a second, too. Because there was an article that came out that Trump, like, it said if Puff Daddy, because that's when they were still calling him that, if Puff Daddy wants to have a party, I'm the guy he calls. Him and Russell Simmons. I think he was like, if Puff Daddy and Russell Simmons, I'm great with the blacks. And if Russell Simmons or Puff Daddy want to have a party, I'm the guy they call. Because if they want to do a sketchy fucking party in New York, he will provide the space for it. The Plaza Hotel. Fucking, Compromat Central. Ugh. Just so fucking gross. Whew. So, again, 12. Now, before we jump into our sort of regular feed of the panic attack around this stuff, I do want to address one other thing. See if I can find this right away. Where'd you guys go? Where is it? Where'd it go? Where is it? Oh, shit. Did she go away? Hold on. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. So, one of the distractions. What's the big, monkey wrench they're trying to throw in this whole thing to try and go, actually, it's about that Trump, in his bitching about lawfare, is suddenly going to arrest Obama. So he puts out this ridiculous video of Obama getting arrested in the White House and stupid shit like that. And it's all about this thing that Tulsi Gabbard brings out, her fucking infographic bullshit that she puts out there, like, there's a real crime or whatever. Okay, let me tell you something. It's a dud. The whole thing's a fucking dud. It doesn't make sense. It's absurd. The idea that beforehand they were talking about, the intelligence community was making the point that Russia didn't hack into machines and change any votes, at least to a level that would have affected the election, which is true. They tried and failed, but they did interfere in the election by creating fake Facebook groups for both candidates, both for and against, to try and run things against it. And they were trying to get Trump elected, right? So that's just, both of those things can be parallel and true. The Russians tried to interfere in our election, but they didn't do it in a material voting sense. And the idea that the Obama administration, after the election, putting out this thing like they tried to interfere in the election, which is patently obvious, very true, across the board, is just like, this is, you could tell that like Trump just called up and said, take a bite out of Obama if you did. Like, it's so fucking stupid. Anyways, you want to know how stupid it is? You want to know how weak it is? Even Tulsi Gabbard's explosive claims. Let's take a look at Megyn Kelly's panel dealing with this. And this is what Tulsi Gabbard really has uncovered related to Russiagate with Halperin, Lauren, and Turrentine. What's this guy, the bastard son of Leon deGrance of Camel Yard or whatever in Excalibur, the guy who wore the gold mask, who was the incest child? I don't know. Just, this is a resemblance. Anyways, so here's them taking this on. And this is, remember, these people are on his side. They're on Trump's side. Mordred, thank you. Yes.
I want to talk about Trump because there's been a very interesting development now. Within the intel community around Trump. Tulsi Gabbard late on Friday, and I just want to say, as on all things, I am a truly honest broker on this. I'm still trying to figure out what's real. I don't know.
Like who she is accusing of what, for instance?
No.
Ouch. Like, I saw, she even made an infographic and I still don't know what the fuck she's talking about.
Whether she's right and Matt Taibbi, who I love, is right, that this is a bombshell and it's...
Oh, Matt Taibbi agrees with her then. Nah, it's fucked from the start. It's dumb. Mr. Censorship Industrial Complex, who was like tweeting about his tweets that weren't read. He was tweeting tweets about his tweets that were censored that included the tweets, the top tweet. He quote tweets his own tweets that weren't allowed to be tweeted.
Terrible, and people really could go to jail, or whether Andy McCarthy at National Review, who I love and respect, and who's totally honest broker too, is correct that this is a complete nothing burger, and she's totally off, and apparently hasn't read her own CIA director's release of last week.
That seems pretty clear.
And that he would suggest she hasn't really been following the Russiagate scandal because everything she just told us is old.
Hey, asshole. Following it, she's in it. She's of it. She is the Russian tool. Let me explain something to you. You could argue that this is, Trump trying to get himself out of the Epstein thing, but understand this. Right after the story came out that Epstein laundered his money through Russian banks, all of a sudden Tulsi Gabbard is putting out an infographic that says that Russia was innocent in this situation and Obama lied, making it look like, Russia was involved in the 2016 election. You think this is entirely about just Trump covering his ass? This is Tulsi covering for Putin in the face of the story coming out that Epstein laundered 4,725 suspicious transaction, $1.5 billion, largely through Russian banks, right about the time he was going to, do himself in.
And so I'm really trying to figure out, but just to set it up for the audience, because it's very complex.
No, it isn't. It's stupid.
On Friday night, Tulsi Gabbard went on Fox News and said that she'd found documents that she was releasing that show, in sum and substance, that one day the intelligence community under Barack Obama was ready to come out and say that the Russians did not interfere in the 2016 election and really had no part in it, and that whole thing was kind of bullshit.
Okay, how many people think that even in this situation, Megyn Kelly is going to come to the conclusion that what Tulsi is talking about is true or right?
Then Barack Obama pulled them all into the White House. They had a big meeting. And then literally the next day, they were like, Russia interfered to help Trump, and leaked it to all the reporters, Washington Post. And the suggestion is that Obama turned to them and said, I'm not having a report coming out of you guys saying that they didn't interfere. Our whole narrative is that Hillary would have won had it not been for the Russians. Now, give me a report that says that. That's the implication. And that then the intel community did it, and the subservient Washington press corps ran with it. And that's how the narrative really took off, that
however
the Russians had gotten Trump elected.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Andy McCarthy's point in response is, okay, you're talking apples and oranges. What they said prior to the Obama meeting was, we've seen nothing to suggest the Russians hacked election machines, even though they tried in a couple of places, but that they were not able to do anything technologically that would have altered the outcome of an election with raw vote.
Which is materially true.
Then they have the Obama meeting, and then they come out, and it's true that their report that they issued then was all about the ways Russia did interfere, like fake articles about Hillary, bots that circulated negative news about her, and they hacked the DNC mail.
Sorry, wait, one second.
Which is how we have a lot of the admissions we have from her and her terrible family.
Sorry. They also hacked the RNC and didn't release what they got from there. So they still have it. They still have all the stuff from the RNC hack, I guess, dangling over Trump's fucking head, or Lindsey Graham's fucking head, I guess, which is probably why he wants them nuked into oblivion, so that, perhaps he thinks Putin has all the information that he hacked from the RNC on a thumb drive stuck up his ass for safekeeping all the time. And then if you get him, you get it too.
Anyway, he's saying it's apples to oranges. And while
it is,
she is producing now emails that do show they were ready to say no interference when it comes to election machines prior.
Which they still did. They did say that. They said that too. Also. You fucking twit.
We kind of knew everything that she's saying already. I'm going to show you her announcement. I think we have it, guys, don't we? On Friday night. Yeah, Sat 9. Let's play it.
Spells out in great detail.
I'm sorry. She makes me laugh right now because everything she does is this like weird, morose sort of like dinner theater bullshit, performance art, like her nuclear video. Like, we are so close to a dark end.
Exactly what happens when you have some of the most powerful people in our country directly leading at the helm, President
Bullshit.
Obama and his senior-most national security cabinet,
By the way, everyone on the right is now calling her skunkhead. Just saying. Like, the maggots are calling her skunkhead. Which is, I'm sure they were, don't trust her necessarily because of that. Yeah, Timu Rogue, right. They call her skunkhead, which I think is funny, because it's their side. Us making fun of her, of course. But when they turn on her, then you go.
James Comey, John Brennan, James Clapper, and Susan Rice and others, essentially making a very...
Essentially? That feels like a softener.
Intentional decision.
Basically.
To create this manufactured, politicized piece of intelligence with the objective of subverting the will of the American people. The list goes on and on about the consequences of President Obama and his senior cabinet members politicizing intelligence once again. And I say these words very clearly, to enact what was essentially a years-long coup, subverting the will of the American people.
A years-long unsuccessful coup, where the dude actually did his whole term and then was even able to be reelected. Yes, such a coup.
One of the other points Andy made was that he's not a fan of Tulsi. He wasn't behind her confirmation. But he's also saying it's...
Well, everyone has sane moments, I suppose.
Not a surprise to him that Tulsi Gabbard would try to exonerate Russia entirely and instead blame America, right? Like sort of say Russia didn't do anything whatsoever. And his point is she's overstating it. Russia did do some things, but it didn't cost Hillary the election. Andy doesn't contend that. But that we're now sort of manufacturing something for press clicks and possibly indictments.
Why would you need press clicks right now, though? What would be the reasoning behind? Why would you? Why would you need press clicks to draw attention, draw the eye away? Why would you need to do that right now?
That may not be there.
If you're Trump, obviously Epstein. If you're Putin, obviously Epstein.
Anybody want to take this?
I mean, look, I'll say this. I am with you.
I hate to have to say something reasonable and truthful, but
I'm not sure what she's doing, because I think what she's trying to argue is it wasn't determinative to the outcome. But there is no debate Russia tried to influence the election. As you say, they bought ads on YouTube. They bought ads on Facebook. They had chat bots. They hacked email. They wanted Donald Trump to win. Now, the question was, did the Trump campaign...
This is, by the way, can I just tell you something? This is not a clip from MSNBC. This is the Megyn Kelly show. This is the first person who spoke up. Now, let me assume that the other two guests will, bend the bar back the other direction.
Collude. Robert Mueller ruled there was no definitive proof that they colluded. But I'm not sure I almost get the sense that what she's saying is like, they didn't try to interfere in the election. And what's also fact is, the Obama administration, the last month of the campaign, was
fact. This is fact.
Aware of what was going on and struggled. Do they go public with this? Do they put it out? If we do, it's going to look like we're trying to tip the scales. After the election, they huddled and said, we need to get out, both as like a PSA, hey, Russia, you tried to do this and we're aware of it. And then they said, was there collusion? Was there perhaps something more there?
Yes, there was. Yes, there fucking was. And if Bill Barr hadn't stopped Mueller from looking into the finances behind it, we'd have had a full case. But since you need means, motive, and opportunity, the motive being financial. If you're not allowed to look into the finances of the main suspect, then you can't produce a case, and you can't say definitively that you have a case, you dumb sons of bitches. All right, anyways, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm all right. I'm gonna be okay.
I think that latter part they wanted to put out into the kind of, mainstream to
son of a bitch. Thank you, Tom.
Be like, someone needs to go look at this, right? And obviously that enraged Trump, and he didn't want, he wanted, and he wanted everyone to know that he did this. But I'm not sure what she's implying. If there's real signs of crime or malfeasance, then by, goodness, put it out and let the public see it. But
sure, goodness me. Well, absolutely.
I'm very skeptical.
I don't know. Have you looked at this? I mean, it's very smart people who I normally trust are in diametric disagreement on it.
If she sees a crime, she's got to say who and what law they broke. It's just too vague.
Sorry, I'm fine. This is the Megyn Kelly show. Like, this sounds like a panel on MSNBC because it's so reality-based. It's insane. It's almost like Epstein was some sort of odd reset button.
I'll pick up on a point Dan made, which I know because I did a lot of reporting on this. Mm-hmm. They really did struggle with what to say. They didn't want to let the Russians go uncalled out in public, but they also didn't want to be accused of trying to make it seem like the Russians were doing something. They were pretending.
I don't know anything about that dude right there. That guy right there, except that he creeps me the fuck out. That if you saw him on, I don't know. You saw him lurking at Mar-a-Lago, you'd be like, eek. Also, he spends most of his time rolling a booger during this interview.
Pretending the Russians were doing something to help Hillary. I actually think there's 19 things you could list that say cost Hillary Clinton the election, and this is one of them. It was very close. You don't know what would have happened otherwise, but I think Russia helped Trump win substantially.
Rolling a booger, I swear. Sorry.
Not through collusion, but because they wanted Trump to win. And that is something she's playing down. What she's playing up is that they somehow broke the law in trying to protect Hillary Clinton. And again, I just
she's
don't
suggesting
see the
they
specifics.
manufactured it. She's basically suggesting this is the same thing as
Basically, you do realize when you're saying things like essentially and basically in a legal situation, you're kind of fucked.
COVID, where the scientists went from, this looks like it came from a lab. We've never seen such a virus from an animal. And then after Fauci and Collins browbeated them, they came out and they were like, it's definitely not from a lab. It's from a pangolin.
They're people associated with Barack Obama who leaned into collusion without.
Also, real quick, on a side note, point of order, Mr. Chairman. How can you have a plandemic that's fake, that's just there so you can pretend there's a disease, so that you can vaccinate people against their will by putting a chip in them or some shit, on the one hand. And on the other hand, have actual gain-of-function caused pathogens leaking out into the thing. Like, it's either a real disease or it ain't. And if it's a real disease, no matter how it came, a vaccine is the way you fucking solve it. Right? If it's really dangerous and it was lab leaked and all that kind of stuff and holy fuck, then the government should do everything it fucking can to keep you from dying from it or getting infected with it and passing it on as best they can with whatever information they actually have. Right? If it was made in a lab and that's the case then the whole thing about the vaccines were fake and it was being forced on us and it's about government control is fucking bullshit. What the hell? All right, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm going to be just fine. It's just...
Motion detected. Take precautions.
Thank you again, Jet, for that.
The doubt. And that wrong. I don't know if it's against the law. It was dirty pool. But mostly what they said was the Russians interfered with the election, and they did.
I think this is
well, so far it's Tulsi Gabbard 0, Megyn Kelly panel 3.
A little bit of cosmic karma, everything comes full circle because Tulsi was accused by Hillary Clinton and the Obamas, I believe, of being like a Russian asset. And then she went on The View and said she's owned by Russia, she's a Russian puppet. And Tulsi was coming out saying, I'm nobody's puppet, I've served this country, I'm a woman in uniform, as she is, and she's a rock star. But yeah, no, I think that
Good Lord.
This is a little bit of cosmic karma. She gets to now come out and say, ha, look at what we've just uncovered in these files. But I think it's Monday. Maybe by the end of the day, we'll have more information, because I read on the way over here, she's now given something to the DOJ or
She said it's going to come out this week. We're going to see leak.
I think it was weird Friday night to make the announcement with everything going on.
I know. Why?
Yeah, that's so weird. Isn't that weird? That's weird. It seems weird.
Why? They put out news that's bad for them heading into a weekend after a holiday. They put out news that's good for them on Friday night.
Hannity will be here
It's weird. It's almost like it's not actually good news.
Monday, so I don't know.
That might have been an Epstein circuit.
I was just going to say.
Maybe.
Yes.
I'm not.
What was that? What was that again, Mark Halpern? What was that again? It might have been a what?
That might have been an Epstein circuit.
I was just going to say.
It might have been an Epstein circuit breaker.
Maybe.
Yes.
I'm not sure that's going to work either.
I don't think. No, it's not. It is not. Excellent point, Megan Smelly. No, it's not going to work. Nobody's buying it. Fuck you. And it's such a dud. It's such a dud. Now, real quick before we move on to the next one, apparently, 2 Live Crew's Luther Campbell called into the Make It Plain show years ago. This is 8 years ago. And this is when it should have mattered. And talked about going to parties with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. And this is the dude who wrote, was banned from the radio because his songs were too dirty. If the dude who wrote Me So Horny is like, I got this party is morally below me, you're in trouble.
Shoot, they had to be around 90 something.
In the 90s.
When he first opened up the mansion in West Palm Beach.
So, Uncle Luke, tell us what happened. You went with Eddie Murphy and Mike Tyson. The 3 of you were together?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And Donald Trump invited...
Real quick. One dude is in trouble for sexually assaulting or physically assaulting another woman. That would be Mike Tyson. Luther Campbell was in trouble because he was with 2 Live Crew and they'd written this song and it was considered, sexist and what have you. And Eddie Murphy, I think, had recently just been busted for allegedly picking up a tranny. That was the term at the time. That was the news story. On Santa Monica Boulevard and just giving her a ride home. To his home, I think, or whatever it was. That was the thing, is that he allegedly picked up a young lady on Santa Monica Boulevard that was not indeed a young lady after all. So, and they're hanging. This is after. This is them hanging. This is not, by the way, this is not Luther. This is the host of Make It Plain. Matsamela Mafuyam, Mark Thompson. There you go.
It invited you all personally.
Mafumo, Mark Thompson, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. He invited all us. He was having his pageant contest going on, and with his pageant contest, he ended up inviting us to the event.
Tell us what happened, Uncle Luke. What happened at that party that made you have to leave?
What happened at the Donald Trump pageant party at Mar-a-Lago in the 90s that made Luke from 2 Live Crew have to leave?
Well, I mean, it was just a lot of things going on. A lot of things that I don't...
Yeah, a lot of things. One of them being underage girls.
That I don't care to engage in. And, he showed us the house, showed us the golf course in the back, all these different things. Said, man, great house, nice house. And I think I probably was there for every bit of maybe 45 minutes before I realized all these different things that was going on. And I was like, okay, it's time for me to go here.
Now you understand, you are Uncle Luke, you 2 Live Crew. So, I mean, we're dying to know what was going on that you couldn't.
Right. If you can't hang with that, what the fuck?
Engage in.
Man, it was just some things that I don't really care to discuss.
Well, you better, because it doesn't make any sense.
Because one thing about me, I don't kiss and tell, but at the same time, the party was going on, and you know, it was a lot of things. Put it this way, there were a lot of things going on. A lot of things.
No, not a lot of things. They weren't playing fucking they weren't bobbing for apples. It wasn't the food was too cold and the beer was too hot. Like, nope. It was something else.
So a lot of things in a lot of different rooms. It was a lot of different rooms.
A lot of things in a lot of different rooms. This is sounding a lot like the kind of shit Cat Williams warned us about.
What was going on in the house, and every time you open up a door, there was something else going on that I really didn't care to be a part of.
Okay. First of all, let's just work this out then. Do you think if Luke from 2 Live Crew opened a door and was a bunch of adults engaged in sex, he'd be like, I got it, I'm done? Do you think that would have, or if he opened a door and there was a bunch of people watching 2 people have sex, 2 adults have sex, right? If it was like a sexual performance, something like that. Or if there were stripping going on or something like that. Do you think that would be like where Luke from 2 Live Crew would go, sorry, Mike, sorry, Eddie, I'm out? Do you think that would have been the switch?
So I felt like, you know, hey, look here, man. You know, I'm from Liberty City. At the end of the day, if I wanted to be involved in all those different type of activities, I did that in my hometown. Less long as going somebody's house where I think they got cameras and everything.
Oh. So Luke smelled a trap.
Be able to take me, and before you know it, you're extorting me. That ain't gonna happen. But you know, one thing about me, I never take no drugs, and I don't get into drugs. So I leave it like that.
Were there drugs there, Uncle Luke?
It was a lot of things up in there. I know I don't take no drugs. I'm gonna leave it like that.
Did you see Donald Trump use any drugs?
No, I didn't see him use no drugs.
So these rooms. So presumably there were women in these rooms.
Oh yeah, a lot of women.
Mm-hmm. How were they?
All over the room.
How were they dressed, Uncle Luke?
Half naked.
Half naked.
Half naked and some naked.
Half naked and some naked.
Half naked and some naked.
Right, which is the name of the next 2 Live Crew record, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And if it isn't, it should be.
Yeah.
All right.
We had a house party. They up in there naked.
Was there any assaultive behavior toward women at this Donald Trump party?
No.
No assaultive behavior. Okay.
No, all the women were enjoying themselves like they do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, but the thing, let me tell you, the thing is, when you're around, I've been around a lot of models and a lot of these pageant women, because that's what mostly it was. It was mostly pageant women.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of these women ain't of age.
Let's back up. What was that again?
It was mostly pageant women.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of these women ain't of age.
And a lot of these women ain't of age.
So when you got a whole bunch of these women running around, whether they of age or not, you know, there's a lot of things going on. You just, you know, some women look too young.
Oh,
so you keep it moving.
The women look too young, so you gotta keep moving. Which brings me back to this. Where is it? This.
Prediction for you?
Yes.
I say you have one more marriage in you.
Except for possibly Robin.
Do you think you could now be banging 24-year-olds?
Oh, absolutely. I have no trouble.
Would you do it?
I have no problem.
Yeah, do you have an age limit, or would you?
No, I have no age. I mean, I have an age. I don't want to be
the
like
upper bracket, yeah.
Foley with 12-year-olds.
Can I make a prediction for you?
I don't want to be fooling with 12-year-olds, which is a pretty low fucking bar, you know, to have your standard. So that would be why, you know, when Luke, who is apparently no fool, started getting a whiff of this situation and felt like it's time to go, he was right.
So it wasn't nobody beating no women, nobody taking advantage of no women. I mean, they were all enjoying themselves. That's what they were there for. But do what they.
For the record, underage like girls cannot quote not be taken advantage of and not be exploited because they are underage. They just that's how it goes. It's not a high school party. Fuck you.
Are they old enough to be enjoying themselves? I don't know.
Was there sex?
Of course there was.
I guess that's a stupid question now to ask. Okay, so I think I got you now. You're saying that all this was going on and you weren't clear as to whether these were adults.
I wasn't clear whether or not they were adults, and I wasn't clear whether or not, whether I wanted to be in that kind of environment where some of these other things that was going on in there. I ain't gonna.
Some of these other things, right? So again, that video, which is 8 years old, mixed with the stuff where he was on the show with Howard Stern, which I gotta say is one of the biggest. I'm shocked that didn't come out sooner. Yes, underage girls cannot consent. Exactly, Andrea. That's the point. And if you're an Eastern European girl who's under 18 and who's here on a fucking visa and some asshole has your fucking passport, you definitely can't consent. Because who the fuck knows that you're there? If you never come home, what happens? You think there's somebody checking like, hey, this girl entered the country a little while ago and then she just kind of poof, she's gone. And then they go ask around. Oh, yeah, I thought she took a boat to Mexico. I don't know. Ended up in a fucking river or a shallow grave someplace. Like, Jesus.